Halo Infinite is just around the corner. Many people are excited about the campaign and its story, including us. Since there are many new and returning fans hyped for the campaign, it's a good idea to have a quick recap of the Master Chief's journey in the games. This video will be one of a 5-part series that will cover the Master Chief's journey in all mainline Halo games. This includes Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4, and Halo 5. We will not be talking about the other Halo games like Halo Wars 2, Halo Reach, Halo 3 ODST, etc. There are other videos talking about them in greater depth. This is just a recap of the Master Chief's story from the games he has played a big role in. In this video, we will be recapping Halo CE's levels from start to finish. And now, without further ado, let's start from the beginning. Pillar of Autumn. The Chief is woken up and introduced while the Pillar of Autumn, a large UNSC ship, is under attack by the Covenant. Master Chief fights off hordes of Covenant, consisting of the Elites, Jackals, and Grunts, for now. Escaping from an escape pod. Halo. Barely escaping, he lands on a mysterious ring full of ancient technology and Earth-like environment called Halo. There, he rounds up the few survivors of the Autumn and escorts them to a safer place. Truth and Reconciliation. Chief goes on a night assault to enter a Covenant cruise attempting to save Keyes and his group. Silent Cartographer. Chief and Cortana are sent on a mission to find the Silent Cartographer on an island, a map leading them to the control room of the Halo ring. While fighting off the Covenant, they soon reached the room, got the information they needed, and quickly left the island. Assault on the control room. A pelican dropped off Chief to find the control room of the Halo, someplace in the snowy biome. They once again fight the Covenant until they reach the room. Cortana noticed something. She didn't have time to explain and told Chief to find Keyes, leaving Cortana in the room. 343 Guilty Spark. Chief gets dropped off in a swamp-like biome to find Keyes and his group. Fighting off the Covenant, Chief finds a recording in a room deep in a Forerunner structure showing the remains of Keyes' slaughtered group. Although Keyes wasn't found, Chief found a recording on one of the Marines' helmets, and was horrified by the cause of their deaths. A new threat. A threat that was feared by the galaxy. A threat that even the most advanced species couldn't control. A parasite, known as the Flood. Realizing the event, he soon gets surrounded by the Flood, but quickly escapes the structure with Marines and finds himself with an odd AI. An Oracle. That takes the Chief to a different location. The Library. Chief gets teleported to a different location. An ancient structure that holds the Index. The key to activate the Halo. Chief fights off hordes of endless Flood until finally, making his way to the Index room. There, the Oracle teleports Chief away to a different location. 2 Betrayals. The Oracle takes Chief to the control room to activate the Halo ring. But Cortana stopped them from doing so. Chief soon realizes what the rings were meant to do. They were meant to destroy the food of the Flood, to starve them to death, eliminating every living being in the universe. The Oracle then betrays them, which led up to Cortana and Chief to deactivate Halo core systems, and leave. Keyes. After escaping from a teleportation that Cortana used on Chief, they were in a destroyed Covenant cruise. Cortana then found out that there were life signals from Keyes on the other side of the ship, which has been taken down by the Flood. Since there was no route from his location to Keyes, he had to go to the ground, and get lifted to the other side. Chief fought off hordes of Flood and Covenant until he reached the inside of the ship. He then enters, and fights off more Flood and Covenant, until he reaches the room where Keyes was. But they were too late. The Flood already consumed him. The Chief then kills Keyes, so the Flood wouldn't get any more information, as the Flood can collect information from his brain. Then, they escape on a Banshee. The Maw. Chief and Cortana realized that as long as the ring was active, humanity would be in trouble. So, they decided it was best to destroy it. Cortana found the location of the Pillar of Autumn, which crashed on the Halo ring shortly after barely escaping. With the Banshee, Chief later arrives at the Autumn, and crashes into it. They then make their way to the command center to self-destruct, but then, the Oracle comes in and deactivates the self-destruct sequence. With also an army of Sentinels. Realizing what he has done, Cortana finds another way to destroy it. They would have to destroy the engine shields and engineering. So, they make their way to engineering to destroy them. After doing so, the whole place begins to crumble. They had to get out. making their way to the vehicle bay and picking up a warthog, where they have 6 minutes to escape. Halfway there, a pelican comes to save them. But a group of banshees come and attack it, leaving Cortana and Chief with no hope, until Cortana noticed a longsword, a multi-mission UNSC fighter jet, docked, and if they made it in time, they would be able to escape on it. So, they kept on driving, running over hordes of Flood and Covenant until they reached the longsword. After making it, they started the engine and escaped. Moments before the destruction of the Autumn, then the Halo. Chief, leaving unsatisfied for the reason that there would have been survivors left on the ring. Knowing that they did what they had to do, they wandered in space, waiting for help to come. Halo Combat Evolved was just the beginning of Master Chief's and Cortana's upcoming adventures. Together, partners, to protect humanity from all of the universe's biggest threats leading up to Halo Infinite. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe, it will make our day. So thanks again for watching, and we will see you on the next one.